Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Hyatt, and I'm an Executive Sales Director here at AOPEN, and welcome to the fourth and final installment of the Chrome OS webinar series, a series which we're quite excited about, and it concludes our newly launched Chrome Mini devices. These devices run out the AOPEN Chrome device portfolio, which includes our AOPEN Chromebox commercial, as well as our Chromebox Mini products and our Chrome-based commercial products. I'm filling today for my counterpart, Jim Huey. And at this point, I'd like to pause 2 to 3 minutes or so to allow a little extra time for attendees to join. So I'm going to put you guys on pause and unmute and allow a couple of minutes for additional attendees to log into the session. I'll be right back. Okay, that should be good enough. We have quite a few attendees that have already logged on, so why don't we go ahead and get started. So before we get going into details of today's session, I'd like to kind of recap where we started in our first of the 3 webinar series that we had earlier. So in part 1 of this series, we discussed the simplicity and security of the Chrome OS platform, if you guys remember that. And then we went on to part 2 in our webinar series, which we explored the power of the Chrome Device Manager, or CDM. And then in part 3, we pointed to the features of these AOPEN devices or new devices that make them impressively reliable and why customers should be considering that platform at this time. So having discussed the operating system, the software, the hardware, we want to take a closer look today at different ways to maximize the capabilities of these devices and otherwise take advantage of the Chrome OS operating system. To take advantage of Chrome OS, you need to write apps, and to write apps you need infrastructure. And today we'll be talking about a new product called meldCX, a rapid development application layer from AOPEN, new product. This platform enables companies to easily develop powerful applications for Chrome OS. Before we get started, let me say if anyone in today's webinar has any questions, on the right-hand side of your screen on the panel, you can simply just go and log your questions, type them in. We'll have an AOPEN engineer who will be filling these questions in real time and answering them as we go throughout today's webinar session. Also, I'd like to extend an invitation to everyone on today's call to attend our upcoming DSC conference in Las Vegas at the end of March 29th and 30th. We'll have a booth. We'll be booth number 1649. And it'll be a great way for us to kind of meet and greet each other and kind of put our arms around some of the impressive AOPEN products, not just from the hardware side, but also from the software and the Chrome OS side, as well as today's discussion, which will be meldCX. Join us today in today's call is Miles Schofield. He's my counterpart, and he's one of our technical solutions engineers. And he's been working closely with our development team as far as the meldCX product is concerned. Miles, I want to thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to going kind of a deeper dive into this rapid development application layer. I'm assuming the name meldCX is in reference to the platform's melding capabilities, which you will expand upon during the course of today's webinar session, as well as the customer experience as we call CX. Miles, welcome.
Thanks, Michael. The platform we're talking about today, meldCX, is all about bringing together all of the digital device applications, kiosk, POS, signage, omnichannel, and really bring them together on all in one platform. These applications all have the same core needs from a programming standpoint. So we created a licensed platform, which is what meldCX is, that meets all of those needs for you. This allows companies to save a bunch on development costs. meldCX is more than just a programming tool, though. It's an entire cloud management system with a bunch of other features that we'll cover. What is also important to note from a market perspective, meldCX is currently being used already at a number of endpoints.
Okay, great. Thank you for the overview, Miles. The first question I had to address really is why are we talking about meldCX at this time as a part of the Chrome device series? It sounds like meldCX is optimized for the Chrome OS platform. Is that correct?
Yeah, Chrome OS certainly has dev tools, as you're probably all aware, and a large development community already. But 4 years ago, we began developing this rapid development platform, meldCX, that we believe addresses some specific pain points in a unique way.
Okay, great. So let's dive right in and learn more about meldCX. What does meldCX offer uniquely, and what are the pain points that the application addresses?
Well, as I mentioned before, the Chrome OS development environment is, it's large, but it's generic, and it's designed to support, base layer OS applications. However, digital device applications, such as Signage, Pause, and Kiosk, all have the same core needs. So let's review those really quick just so that we all understand. So the first one, of course, is cloud data control. If you have a device out that's installed at an endpoint, it needs to send data back and forth to a server. Whatever content it has, whatever data it's collecting, all that stuff. So all of that transmission needs to be managed correctly. The second is local data control. And local data control is all about how the end device is collecting and caching data. This is still very important even in an age where everything has constant internet connection. But your device really needs to be able to withstand all sorts of interrupts correctly, including power outages as well. The last one, which is really exciting for us, is local device control. There's a lot of digital device applications which use local digital devices such as peripherals, ports, barcode scanners, all this stuff. And all these three things go together, into a lot of programming work. And asking companies to develop these same pieces over and over is just a waste of resources. So we took the opportunity to work with Google to deliver this functionality to companies wanting to switch to Chrome OS.
Great. Thank you, Miles. So it sounds like in this situation, it's great for many areas of development. For example, if you're a large company like Pixar, you can write your own renderer. If not, you license Maya. Or if you're a large Active Blizzard, you write your own 3D engine. If not, you license Unreal or something like Havoc. And these licensing platforms exist to make developing products in these spaces more affordable. It sounds to me that meldCX helps companies who want to switch to Chrome for less money and for less effort to kind of minimize the pain in doing that. Is meldCX just a library or platform? Can you elaborate more on that?
So meldCX isn't just a simple library that you can plug in. To only provide additional libraries would not address those three primary core gaps that I mentioned before. So to meet those, meldCX is actually two primary programs, the cloud server and the player. You set the meldCX player, which we call Agent M, as the application being run in single app kiosk mode in CDM. Remember, we covered that in webinar 2. You can then log into the meldCX server to assign meldCX applications to the device. Just to give you a basic example, you could have a meldCX app called Signage, a simple CMS signage player. When you assign the app to the device will then connect to your CMS server and get the appropriate data.
Okay, so it sounds like if you're a content management system, CMS, instead of having to write a new player and take the time to develop that, you could just write a meldCX app. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And we've designed meldCX applications to be as simple and as flexible as possible. Much easier to write than having to write strictly for Chrome OS.
Wow. So it sounds like that simplicity and flexibility is important. So we will discuss that more shortly, I guess, go into more detail if you don't mind. Right now, I'd like to focus on two of the key points you mentioned earlier, which is kind of the functionality. What kind of functionality does the Agent M player offer?
So Agent M is the program running on Chrome OS in local kiosk mode, and it does all the heavy lifting that you would expect. And it has three primary goals. First, Agent M allows your app to easily access all base OS controls: restart, sleep, power. Second, it also allows your app to control ports and peripherals, so you can directly control and monitor the network ports and manage those important drivers we were talking about for external devices. And finally, it allows you to easily cache and manage local cloud data sources to accommodate a wide variety of solutions and requirements.
Sounds good, but Miles, so let me kind of highlight some of the functionalities you just mentioned so we can go into more detail. You first stated Agent M allows your app to access easily all the OS controls. Why are these OS controls important?
So the OS controls, such as restart, holding the various sleep states and the power modes, are all OS commands available on the system, but only gentle restart is available through CDM. Agent M turns all the relevant control commands into APIs so that they can be correctly triggered and set from cloud systems through your application. So, this, instead of having to write, once again, a Chrome OS app, which correctly defines all and handles all the restart states, you would just have to use our simple APIs when you're writing a meldCX app.
Okay, that's beginning to make a lot of sense. So you stated that it allows your app to control ports and peripherals. How do you directly control and monitor the network ports and manage drivers for external devices?
Yeah, this is very important when it comes to Chrome OS. Chrome OS was originally designed to be an always online system and primarily support network printing and simple USB devices. meldCX allows you to create and manage your own drivers for all sorts of devices, as I mentioned before. And we've been working on a lot of projects, and our developers have already created drivers for the industry's most popular local printers, barcode scanners, fingerprint scanners, all sorts of stuff. This allows end users to take advantage of our existing library in the system.
Okay. So follow up on your third point, which is that it allows you to easily cache and manage local and cloud data sources to accommodate a wide variety of solutions. Can you give us some more details on that?
Yeah, like I mentioned before, the main pain point when it comes to writing, software for kiosks and stuff like that, and you have your primary IP, and that IP is usually your software associated with the device. And so it's easy just to, if you're a kiosk company, just to get the minimum that will put your correct image on the screen from your server. And so the reason, once again, why caching the data and making sure that your app can correctly handle all interrupt use cases from restarts and data interruptions is really, really important just for your product's quality. And AgentM does all that for you. It controls, syncs all data with the cloud server, and just guarantees that you can handle these interrupt cases.
Sounds like meldCX does a lot in terms of a platform, helping customers migrate from maybe a Windows platform to the Chrome OS. So that sounds good. So this may be a good segue, Miles, to kind of go into what are the main features of the meldCX Cloud and how it can help customers.
So when it comes to the meldCX server, it's about three things. The player itself, that does a lot of the heavy lifting, but meldCX is really about becoming a full-featured management platform for Chrome OS. And so it's all about managing your data, managing devices, and managing applications. The first goal is important for ensuring access to the data. The server and the player work together to sync the appropriate data, which makes it available in both places. This is really important if you have a digital device which is constantly collecting information, such as any sort of terminal or kiosk. To give you an example, if you have, for instance, a biometrics app, which would be a camera detecting certain features about your customers, you could actually have that connected to your standard digital signage, and it will send constant data to the meldCX cloud server. Once the data is on the meldCX server, you can grab it from wherever you want and integrate it into any sort of customer dashboard and make it part of your product.
So does that process kind of help companies and customers avoid having to write the whole push-pull intelligence, data blocking, and maybe transmission control?
That's exactly what it does. But it's worth noting that taking advantage of our data management is optional. In fact, data pulls can come from any source, and meldCX can send remote requests to other web servers. So, data is downloaded in small chunks to ensure it gets there even on bad connections. So for initial integrations, we can just have our system do requests, and then once you want our system to take care of a little bit more of your data management, you can slowly integrate more and more.
Wow. What about the second goal related to managing devices? Can you maybe go more into that?
Sure. So as I mentioned, the meldCX server is really about management, and it has to manage the devices from the ground up. As you might expect, the meldCX allows all the standard stuff you've seen in a lot of these platforms, monitored devices, assign applications and collect process data. But you can also go much further. What's really cool is that the platform allows end users to assign multiple applications at once. So of course, we're in single kiosk mode, but you can run multiple meldCX web applications within that single kiosk mode. That's what allows you to do your hardware and your app as well, and your signage, your biometric, all that at the same time. Or the other cool thing that you can do is have them individually assigned per screen. So we have multiple screens supported through Chrome OS, and so you can be even more efficient when it comes to hardware usage. You can also assign variables through the device manager. And the reason why that's important is because you can set special flags. So if your application needs special codes in terms of what hardware is attached to it, or different sort of call signs and things like that, then you can set up all that up beforehand in the meldCX dashboard.
Wow. So what does that really mean, Miles? Can you go into more detail there?
Yeah, this is a really cool thing, because it means that in any replacement or install scenario, you can just update anything about the device from the cloud. Just enroll the device and ship it out, and you'll be able to change all that hardware config, that local hardware config, and all that stuff that you would normally have to do out in the field. And we call this the zero-touch deployment.
Wonderful. This has been great so far. Just want to remind our attendees that if you have any questions, you can log in, and on the right side of the screen, you can type in your questions. We have a couple of engineers that are going to be answering those questions real time. So please, as we're going through pretty fast here, if you have any questions, just type those in, and we'll definitely be sure to answer them for you, okay? Miles, I want to switch gears and talk more about application management. Can you kind of go into that piece of things and how meldCX offers an advantage for applications management?
Yeah, sure. So, this platform is supposed to be a fully function which allows people to fully develop their meldCX applications. And so we really wanted to support all parts of that. With the meldCX application management, you can upload and manage many versions of your meldCX applications, and we built in tester networks and version controls, which allow for easy rollbacks and upgrades, and just to make sure that everything works with the newest and latest versions. And the devices will also retain multiple versions of the applications, the meldCX applications, to ensure that if you do need to do a quick rollback or a roll forward, that can just happen instantly without any sort of data transmission. meldCX can also, as I mentioned, meldCX can also act as a store. Our goal here is really to allow a growing marketplace for all the technologies that surround digital devices. So eventually, we hope to have all of the printers and the pin pads and the barcode scanners, drivers for everything that you can think of in meldCX already.
Okay, wonderful. So it sounds like from a overall standpoint, there's a lot that meldCX brings to the table. One of the questions I know customers may have or partners may have, how do I then write my meldCX application?
So let's get into a little bit of the specifics, not too technical though. So meldCX supports all modern frameworks, and as long as your IP is software which is written in a web framework, it should be pretty easy to integrate. You can take whatever web code you're currently sending from your platform and have our player run it. And then you can include additional functionality using the meldCX suite of web components. These components can be media elements that are managed by the meldCX server, interactive elements like buttons and keyboards, data elements like peripherals and port status. And on the server side, meldCX makes all of this management and cloud data available so that you can connect it to your own cloud service. So it's bringing these things together to try and make it super simple. Like I said, we really wanted to make this way easier than just straight up writing a Chrome OS app.
Okay, so what if a user has a local, let's say, Windows program that they wish to convert to Chrome?
So that's still possible. This would take some more work. And in the front end, or what's being displayed to the user on the device, so let's just say we're working with a pause or something, this would be the interface. That would have to be recreated in web-compatible code. And then on the back end, if you're doing a local processing or local data storage, and it's written in C, then it would have to be rewritten for Chrome OS. There is, however, another option that Google has been supporting, and that's a product that they have called Chrome OS Native Source Client Technology, which allows you to actually run C++ and C code in Chrome OS.
So how would one get started, a customer or one of our partners, how do they get started on meldCX?
So our development package will be available at the beginning of March 2017, and the first step is really to contact your regional AOPEN sales representative, so that we can really work together to try and determine your business objectives and account for all the key details related to your use case, because we're still building this platform. We have the documentation to support our server APIs, Agent M APIs, device drivers, and web containers are ready. So eventually we want it to be fully, automatic. And the other thing to note is that meldCX requires CDM. So you would set it up once you get your account. You would just set it up as you'd expect. You'd register your device on CDM and then assign Agent M single kiosk mode, and you'd be on your way.
Great. So one question I know that has popped up here is where is meldCX being used right now?
So in advance of the launch, as we were developing this platform, we wanted to work with some partners to hone in the technology across multiple use cases and verticals. meldCX is currently deployed across a number of endpoints in a variety of application environments. For example, we have, I'm showing it on the screen right now, we have an unintended automated check-in system. You can go up and it prints visitor badges. You can use it to call and send SMSs to employees. The next one is a SelfCheckout Kiosk. This is in a restaurant where you can go in, order anything like, it prints out your receipt. You can pay via PayPal. Let's see. The next one is an InStore Concierge. You can see it has a little barcode scanner on the bottom. This works with the store's loyalty program. So you can go in there and it recognizes you and it knows what you've bought and does all this stuff. It also has training materials and all these tips for sort of an in-store sort of concierge experience.
Okay, great, Miles. It looks like we have a few questions here. I'd like to take a minute to see if we could get them answered. One of the questions that came in, another one, which is can we manage, or can meldCX manage commercial-grade flat panels, turn on, on and off switches, volume, HDMI input, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's certainly our intention. So the two ways that flat panels are currently managed are through the standard serial port. So you could build those drivers into Chrome OS to support those individual screens. And then the new standard, which is going to standardize everything on HDMI. So as long as the device would have the new HDMI ports, then you could write those drivers and control those commercial screens.
Okay, great. Sounds like we have a couple more questions. I want to let everyone know that sent in questions individually. We will be responding also at the end of today's session via email. And so we'll definitely answer those questions via email. We want to be sensitive to everyone's time since this is a 30-minute session. So keep the questions coming. We will definitely answer and stay in touch on those as well. So it sounds like, Miles, the more you're working with partners to expand our global scope and functionality, and the more they're invested in how this platform impacts their own development, the more we're moving forward with Chrome products. It sounds like our customers and our partners will get improved access to better data and to a growing library of software and device applications. Sounds like that saves us a lot of money and also expands the functionality of the existing platform. As we conclude, kind of wrap up this seminar, I'd like to thank everyone for submitting questions. I hope we've had the opportunity to answer everyone's question. And again, we will definitely be following up via email directly with some additional questions that came in at the end here. Of course, if you'd like to take a deeper dive on meldCX, Chrome OS and some of the functionality that the AOPEN products and devices provide, please let us know. Please contact us, and I'll be sharing some information as far as how you can contact AOPEN at the end of today's discussion. The meldCX Rapid Development Platform sounds like it's poised to fill some important gaps in the evolution of devices and data management with easier access to OS controls, control of ports and peripherals, and easy management to local and cloud data sources. So I'm pretty excited about what the Chrome OS and the meldCX can do for our customers and our partners. And I think Chrome OS is the way of the future, and our customers are coming to us saying that. So we're very, very excited about this. If you have any questions specifically about meldCX, you can also contact Jim Huey. Jim is our subject matter expert, and he's working with a lot of AOPEN enterprise customers with the Google Chrome OS team across multiple verticals and resources, trying to help these customers and partners build scalable solutions on the Chrome OS platform. meldCX offers the next step for the developer in this space, and we're very excited about what it can do for our customers and partners. Of course, if there are general questions, you can also contact us at info@aopen.com. And going back to DSC, we talked about this earlier in our broadcast. I'd definitely like to extend an invitation to all our customers and all our partners to visit the AOPEN booth, which is booth number 1649. Booth number 1649 at the upcoming DSC conference in Las Vegas. It will be March 29th and 30th are the two exhibition dates. We definitely would love to meet with customers and partners to explore some of the possibilities of meldCX, talk more in depth about our Chrome device portfolio, which includes, again, the commercial Chromebox, the Chrome-based 22, the Chrome-based 11-inch touchscreen, and then some of our new price devices like the Chromebox Mini. Those newly launched AOPEN products will be featured in our product showcase at DSC, so please keep an eye out for that. You'll see a lot of buzz around that. We're getting a lot of traction from our partners and our customers on the Chrome, Google OS side, and also our retail customers, our healthcare customers, even SLED customers, so we're getting a lot of excitement. Chrome is the way of the future, and we want to help our customers and our partners to get there, and tools like meldCX will definitely assist that. Miles, thanks again for all your great, wonderful information today. We can provide this information to our customers remotely after today's broadcast. Please join us again in March for our next installment of the Chrome webinar series. And in that series, I think Miles' plan is to go into customer-facing kiosk solutions built upon the AOPEN Chrome devices. If there are no further questions, thank you very much for joining today. We appreciate your partnership, your attendance, and we will be in touch. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Miles.
Thanks, Michael.